name is Joan and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about how my MS symptoms came back with a vengeance and the crazy side effects of the medications I took. But before I start my story, I just wanted you all to know that these are things that I experienced during my 23-year journey. Just like MS, which affects everybody differently, the medications I took may not affect you the same way it affected me. Okay? Now back to my story. I woke up in the middle of the night in excruciating pain. I was experiencing what they call the MS hot feet. Yeah, I know. What next, right? This was a sensation which felt like my feet were not only on fire, but it also felt as if they were being pricked with pins and needles, then hit with an electric shock wave. You know, when you bump your knee on the side of a desk or the table, that shocking sensation you feel? Yes, similar to that. As night literally dragged on for hours, I was so happy to finally see daylight. We called Dr. Raming's office and was told to go to the hospital. My legs just below the knee felt numb and it was quite difficult to move around. By the time I got dressed and we arrived at the hospital, the numbness was just above the knee. With my doctor's assistance, I was registered, placed in a room very quickly. The MRI team were called. I was wheeled over and had an MRI of the brain and spine done with contrast. By the time I got back to my room, would you believe the numbers was almost thigh high? I must say, the technicians worked quickly at the hospital. They literally took turn trying to locate a vein. I have what they call tiny unruly baby veins that sometimes roll. In fact, they have a mind of their own. I don't know. They needed a hemlock in place to inject the contrast dye. And then when I returned to the room, they needed to start my IV treatment. Once back in my room, my doctor examined me and the numbness was now at the base of my spine. It was moving fast and furious. I noticed the worried look on his face and that of my friend, Dr. James. So I did what I do best, which is laugh and talk foolishness. One of the techs brought my MRI results upstairs to my doctor, and it showed that I had new lesion on the brain and 2 areas of demyelination. Ooh, I said it right the first time, I think, on the spine. When he saw this, he knew 750 milligrams a day of the steroids wasn't going to work this time. It had to be a stronger dose, especially at the rate in which the numbness was taking over my body. I was given 1,000 milligrams a day, which hopefully would only be for 5 days. Although I kept a smile on my face and remained positive, I was really afraid, especially later in the day when I peed the bed and didn't know. When my dinner arrived, I used my hands to adjust myself in the bed, only to realize the sheet was wet. My water jug was on the nightstand, so it couldn't be water. I smelled my hand and it smelled like urine. So I checked myself, only to realize I was soaked and wet. You hear me? Soaked and wet. I don't know how long I was in a puddle of urine or how many times I had peed, but my nightdress and underwear were wet. I started thinking to myself, if my brain never got the signal that I needed to pee, and obviously because of the numbness and loss of sensation, I didn't feel I was wet, what would happen if the numbness got as high as my heart? Will it stop beating? Am I going to die? All of these things just went through my mind, you know. So I had to take a deep breath and say, Joan, relax. Stop it. God got this. I was on the steroids for 5 days. That was 5,000 milligrams. And yes, I looked like the Pillsbury Doughboys once again. He came back, the Pillsbury Doughboy. I was unable to be discharged after the 5 days because my blood sugar level was too low. It was between 39 and 41. I'm not a diabetic, as mentioned in the first part of my story, but this apparently was a side effect courtesy of Mr. Steroids. I had to remain in hospital for observation while I was being fingerprinted and checked often because they didn't want me to slip into a diabetic coma. When I was finally discharged, I brisk walked out the hospital like a champion. Although the hot feet and numbness were now a thing of the past, I was still experiencing pain and spasms. Therefore, my doctor prescribed Lyrica for the pain. Okay, let me sound like an advertisement. Studies show that 0.1% to 1% of people who were prescribed Lyrica showed signs of hallucinations and hostility. Yeah, of course, Dr. James, I had to fall in that uncommon side effects column, right? Yeah, I had to fall in that column. One afternoon, I took a nap because, like I said, I was experiencing a lot of pain. I opened my eyes, and to my horror, there was a big black spider on my very white wall. I screamed. My husband and daughter ran in the room. Rudy asked, "What happened?" At first, I was only able to point. Then, after I finally was able to speak, and I got over the shock of seeing this spider, I said, "Spider! See that black spider on the wall? You need to kill it." He looked at me and asked, "What spider?" "Really? What spider?" I looked at him in total disbelief because there was no way under the sun he could have not seen this gigantic spider on the wall. Yeah, I know every time I did the size, it was bigger and bigger. Yeah, I know that was just fair. Okay, don't judge me. I called Raquel, who was already terrified because she heard spider, and asked her if she saw the spider on the wall. And she's like, "No, mommy." I was livid. I mean, how could they not see this big black spider on the white wall? Now, I don't know if it was because I was shouting, therefore I upset the imaginary black spider, but it started to move. Once again, I started screaming because the spider looked as if it was one, getting ready to jump on me, and I could barely move, or two, crawl behind the chest of drawers and hide. Who knows, maybe forever. I wasn't sleeping in that room with no black spider. It wasn't gonna be John. Nope, not at all. Now, I don't know if I looked or even sounded like something, I was crazy or something like that, but Woody looked at Raquel and he said to her, Kelly, go get the broom of the kitchen. She went, got the broom of the kitchen, brought it to her daddy, and trust me when I say he beat the white off my wall. He killed that humongous spider. Yes, my hero, Rudy the imaginary black spider slayer. You take that. Now, I'm able to laugh about it now, but back then, it was not funny. It was not funny at all because that spider was so real. It was so real, you know? Now, when I started seeing my Grammy and other dead relatives, I must say I had sense enough to know that, hey, something was wrong. Something was wrong. So we contacted Dr. Raming, and he took me right away off the Lyrica. I mentioned to him the fact that, even though that spider wasn't real, I couldn't move much because of the spasms I was feeling. Yeah, so in my next video, I'll be talking about the medication I got for the spasms and, yes, the side effects. And this one is gonna be another doozy. You know what? I'm really beginning to see why my family call me a drama queen, because there is never a dull moment in my life. Never. I want to thank you all for watching my video. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Said it right this time. To my channel. And to those who have subscribed already, and to those who have subscribed already, I thank you. Until we meet again, bye.